Introduction to cartilage, arthritis, and why joints are like organs. Imagine a tissue with no blood supply, no nerves, not metabolically active, and yet it's essential for how we move. You don't think about it until it breaks down. And then it becomes one of the most common causes of chronic pain in the world, osteoarthritis. Let's cut to the bone. I'm Dr. Lucius Pomerantz, orthopedic surgeon, and today we're tackling one of the most important medical issues globally. Osteoarthritis affects over 600 million people and costs the US alone more than $80 billion a year. It causes pain, stiffness, and lost mobility, ultimately cutting into our health span. As a side note, this may be called degenerative arthritis or even just arthritis. We will parse through these terms as we go forward. And this is part one of a three-part series. This video will include what cartilage is, what happens when it breaks down, and how we can help prevent it. In the next videos, I'll cover non-surgical and surgical treatments. So, what is cartilage? Cartilage is a specialized connective tissue built to withstand stress. It's firm yet flexible, made from cells called chondrocytes, which are relatively rare inside the tissue. These cells are embedded in an extracellular matrix, a scaffold of proteins and other molecules. When we're very young, much of our skeleton is cartilage. As we grow, most of it turns to bone, except in places like the nose, ribs, ears, and the caps of our joints. The cartilage in our joints is called articular cartilage. It's about 75% water, with the rest made up of collagen, mostly type 2, for tensile strength, and proteoglycans, made from things like glucosamine and chondroitin. These will come up again when we talk about supplements in the next video. These help attract water and help the tissue handle compression and all the other forces that our joints are going to see. You can think of articular cartilage like a gel-filled trampoline, absorbing impact and springing back into shape. The structure is layered. There's a superficial zone where the fibers run parallel to the joint surface, and this helps resist shear forces. The middle zone, fibers are kind of randomly assorted, and this handles compression. And then there's the deep zone. Fibers run perpendicular to the joint, and this kind of anchors the cartilage to the bone. But here's the twist. There's no blood supply. Cartilage gets its nutrients through the joint fluid, also known as synovial fluid, and it's moved around by motion of the joint. It's like maintaining an ice rink. You can't have pipes running through the ice, but you can get a smooth and level surface with a Zamboni. This also contributes to why cartilage injuries heal poorly. No blood flow means very limited repair by the sparsely populated chondrocytes. And no nerves mean you often don't feel damage until it's very far along. Now, joints as organs. This is where an interesting concept comes in. Joints aren't just mechanical hinges. They're living organs. Like the heart or kidneys, they have multiple systems working together. In joints, you have ligaments stabilizing, muscles moving and supporting, and then this tissue called synovium lines the joint capsule and helps make the joint fluid, regulates nutrients going in and out of the joint and the waste, and helps support the immune activity. Then you have that smooth cartilage that allows the bones to glide past each other at the joints. This complex balance of an organ is called homeostasis. When it's disrupted, there will be inflammation. If it's inside a joint, you get arthritis. Just like disrupted homeostasis to the heart causes heart disease. And by the way, articular cartilage and joint fluid is smoother than ice, making it a true biomechanical marvel. So, what happens in osteoarthritis? Arthritis just means joint inflammation, but there are many causes. Osteoarthritis is the medical term for the loss of cartilage in our joints causing inflammation. Often, this is used interchangeably with degenerative arthritis, but this implies that it's just wear and tear over time. But other things can certainly contribute to the end stage of osteoarthritis. one of which is post-traumatic arthritis. This is following an injury, especially if it involves bleeding or injury to the cartilage. Blood inside joints triggers inflammation, which accelerates breakdown. Hemophiliacs are people who bleed really easily and are known to get osteoarthritis of their joints at a relatively young age. If a fracture involving a joint isn't perfectly aligned or the joint is unstable from a ligament injury, cartilage may wear unevenly over time. It frays. Think like carpet fibers coming loose. That frayed cartilage holds less water, becomes less slippery, there is more friction, and this results in more fraying, and eventually it exposes the subchondral bone. This is the bone right beneath the cartilage. Since cartilage has no nerves, you may not feel this breakdown until there's bone-on-bone grinding. At that point, inflammation kicks up, pain increases, and the body tries to adapt by forming what's called osteophytes. These little bone flecks are kicked off by the bone-on-bone grinding. They fall to the sides of the joint and make bone spurs. But what's happening is that these bone spurs spread pressure out over a wider area. It's not a cure for arthritis, but it's a clever biological workaround. Other types of arthritis. While this video focuses on the wear and tear and injury-related osteoarthritis, it's worth mentioning a few others. There is inflammatory arthritis, and this is a broad category. It includes autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, lupus, and ankylosing spondylitis. In these situations, the immune system mistakenly attacks the body, often affecting the joints and leading to joint damage. Then there are crystal arthropathies, the most common of which is gout. This involves the byproducts of our metabolism making uric acid crystals within our joints. Then these trigger inflammation, and it can be really painful. Gout can flare with foods like red meat and pork, shellfish, high fructose drinks, and alcohol, especially if you're predisposed genetically or have kidney issues. So, can we prevent arthritis? Yes, but not entirely. Time, genetics, and injuries all play a role. But we can delay or slow arthritis by reducing joint stress and supporting overall joint health. The best strategy? Regular, moderate exercise. Think of it as motion is lotion. Movement stimulates synovial fluid and nourishes the cartilage. Studies show that moderate runners often have lower rates of knee arthritis than sedentary people. And immobilization, meaning keeping the joint from moving, can actually damage cartilage, which is why we as orthopedic surgeons avoid prolonged immobilization unless absolutely necessary. Another key is weight management. Climbing stairs loads your knees with 4 times your body weight. Losing just 10 pounds reduces 40 pounds of force per step. Over thousands of steps per day, that adds up fast. And beyond the mechanics of things, general inflammation matters. Obesity, diabetes, smoking, processed foods, and alcohol all raise baseline inflammation. That's bad for your joints. There's no magic supplement or injection that prevents arthritis, but lifestyle changes can make a real difference. That includes anti-inflammatory type of diets, whole foods, less packaging. Then there's regular sleep, getting those 7 to 8 hours a night. Lowers cortisol levels, helps you feel better. Then stress management. Again, if you feel better, you have less stress hormones, you have less inflammation. Quitting the bad habits like smoking and other bad things can definitely reduce inflammation. And, well, then there's supportive social connections. Find a friend or an accountability partner to help you do all of that. So, final thoughts. Cartilage is silent, elegant, and unforgiving. Once it's gone, it's gone. That's why prevention is everything. Treat your joints with the same respect you'd give your heart or your brain. Protect things early. Movement is their medicine. In the next videos, I'll cover treatments for arthritis, starting with non-operative options like lifestyle modifications, supplements, and injections. And I will give my take on biologic interventions, including platelet-rich plasma and stem cells. The third video will dive into surgical treatments from microfracture to joint replacements. I'm Dr. Lucius Pomerantz, orthopedic surgeon and lifestyle medicine physician. Please like, share, subscribe, and get notifications so you don't miss what's next. If there's a topic you want me to cover or a specific injury you'd like me to discuss, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for your time.